Alright, so this event just kind of continues to be really OP because now we also have Merlin going up on rate up alongside Arjuna Altar. This is literally like if they were just like, you know what, we're gonna put Castoria on one banner, and then we're gonna put like Berserker Musashi, Summer Kama, Space Ishtar on the other banner. You literally give us like one of the best servants for the card type, like not just like, oh, one of the best Berserker servants. It's like just one of the best Buster servants in the history of the game. And then you're also like, here's one of the best Buster support type servants, because even though Merlin, I believe, is falling off a little bit in comparison to people like Koyenskaya, or what you can do with stuff like Himiko and Morgan, Merlin is still an absolutely phenomenal servant, and the fact that they just slapped him on rate up over here just makes getting into JP right now, like, this is one of the best times to get into JP. Like, if you've ever been a person that's like, man, I really wanted to start playing JP, I don't know where to start. Like, I know it's a meme, but unironically, I'm sponsored by LD Emulator. Go download that, put it on your computer, and just start playing JP, because this event is like so OP, right? It's like an easy event to farm. You can get Arjuna Altar, you can get Merlin, and then the next event is going to be a lottery. So even if you're like, oh, but I don't have the materials to level up Arjuna Altar, or I can't level up my Merlin skills, that's fine. You're not going to do that day one anyway, because the most important thing for you is to get your grubby little mitts on them, right? You need to get a hold of the servant, because then you can level them up and, you know, rank up all their skills at your leisure, right? Like, you can do that as you go along, but just, this is a strong opportunity, right? Like, this is very, very strong. And Merlin himself is only going to be up for 2 days, as you guys can see right here with the summoning duration. He is only up for 2 days, as this event is going to be leaving quite soon on the 16th up here. So this is one of those things. It's like, if you want to play JP and you're like, oh man, I don't have Castoria, I don't have Koyenskaya, I won't have Scotty and any quick servants, this is still a very good place to start. Because at the very least, any boss fights, any challenge quests, which there are bound to be challenge quests coming with the lottery event, because it seems to be very similar to something like Battle in New York. It kind of seems like Battle in New York Part 2 with the way that the banner is made and everything. But this like combination is going to be very OP, especially if this is going to follow how Battle in New York wouldn't allow you to double up on servants. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, because maybe you weren't able to participate in Battle in New York, but it was one of those things where you couldn't do like double Merlin, right? You couldn't do double Waver. You had to break up your party because they wouldn't allow you to double up on any servants, because they wanted it to be a little harder to be more consistent for a lot of the challenge quests, because obviously something like double Merlin at that time was just giga OP, because you would just never die because of all your HP. You have 2 AoE invincibilities, you have insane amounts of crits and buster damage you can put out, and you just have like insanely consistent star gen. It was just a really, really OP setup at the time. It's still very strong if you want to use it, right? It's not like Merlin's any worse than he was when he came out. It's just, in comparison to people like Koyenskaya, obviously they're hitting a bit more different. But it's just going to be really good for that, because then even though if you don't have Koyenskaya, you can still be like, well, I can bring my Merlin, my Arjuna Altar, and a friend Koyenskaya, right? And if you're like, what if I can't find any friend Koyenskayas? Dog, we have an entire Discord with this like big fat FGO chat, right? With like all the people in there, right? You can come in there. You can try to add someone like me. I don't have Koyenskaya, obviously, so I'm not really going to be of much help in that situation. But you can add me, you can add other people, and we'll try to do our best to help you guys out, like if you're a new player especially. And I mean, even participating in this event is probably like the least important thing. I mean, I get you can do it if you clear Fuyuki, but like the most important thing is literally just snagging up like these 2 servants if you're going to like try to like jump into the game, because this is even still like a strong combination now, and it's not like the CEs you can pull from here are bad either. Like, this is very, very strong for a new player, because it can definitely kind of patch up any holes in the account that you might have, because, you know, it's just giving you big chungus invincibility that's going to be very strong and helping you just get a little bit of an edge when going into things. Now, real quick, the only thing that I'm a little disappointed in is that it's not looking like Merlin is walking away with any new buffs, which I think is kind of a mistake. They probably should have gone ahead and given him a buff. I know there's a lot of people that, well, this is actually, I'm not generalize, because this is actually a debate in the community that has numerous people on both sides. You have people that are more in like my camp that are like, Merlin's starting to become a little dated because it's hard for him to keep up with a lot of the other giga strong casters that give like 50% and then like all these different just sweeping large buffs. You know, if it's Koyenskaya and Castoria that are also providing like these very strong special damage mods. You know, Castoria has like this insanely OP NP and like all these party-wide buffs that are super strong. Koyenskaya just allows Buster Servants to loop, which is insane. Scotty still gives like essentially his third skill, but they're all for 3 turns minus the max HP, which is the least important thing that Merlin gives, right? Like this and this are the most important things, and Scotty essentially gives this, but these are both for 3 turns, right? And this is limited to quick cards, but you're a quick servant anyway, so that's what you're going to be predominantly using. So it's like, I would have liked to see him get a buff. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't do that, because if anything, if they gave Merlin a buff, does that not incentivize more people to try to summon for him? I'm just of the belief that I think it's really good content to just either throw servants a costume or, you know, throw them a buff their way, which I get over here. They gave him the glasses, I believe. Yeah, they gave him the little glasses. Like, that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about things like Mordred getting her costume, right? Or Arjuna getting his costume, or Kentoki getting their costumes. Because like when I think of all 3 of those servants getting costumes, I now actually want to go out of my way to summon for those servants, right? Because now they have this really sick costume that like before maybe I wasn't the biggest fan of their design, or maybe I think their sprite looked a little goofy. Like I could actually pull up Kentoki, because I think Kentoki is one of the best examples for me, just speaking from a personal sense, that like I didn't really like what they did with his new sprite. Like I wasn't the biggest fan, but then like this just looks like a Chad, dude. Like that just looks like an absolute giga Chad, bro. Like it just seems like anything that I had a problem with his new sprite was completely fixed and like proportioned properly for me. And so it's like, this is now a servant that, even though I don't necessarily need Kentoki on my account, with how much I think Kentoki's pretty cool and how just sick he looks right now, I definitely want to summon for this servant. And so I'm like, I just don't understand why they were just like, toss Merlin some glasses and call it a day. Because I don't know, I feel like you just need to capitalize it on it more, right? Because imagine the Grail live event, right? This is a perfect example. Sorry that I'm like kind of clearing my throat and everything. It's a bit later for me to drop this video, as you guys might be able to tell. It's going to be dropping at like 3:30, but you know, it's better late than never, I always say. But anyway, dude, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Grail live event. I lost my train of thought. But if you think about that, that's one of the events that people are really looking forward to, because let me see if I just type in Grail live, if it'll actually pull up, and I can show just all of the different costumes we get. We literally get like 9 different costumes, dude. Like look at all this. It's like, it's so good for, like, everybody has MASH, so it's exciting for people that have MASH. Like, oh, we get a new outfit. It's like, oh, Altera has a new outfit. Maybe you really like this new outfit, and you're really going to go ahead and try to summon for Altera the next time you see her on Raid Up, right? Or if you have, like, Serenity or Uriel, right? Like, these are, like, free-to-play units that are getting these, like, really nice costumes, and it's like, oh, this is really nice. A character I have kind of gets something in this event, right? Like, this is really cool. Say, next time Jean is on Raid Up, you're like, I really like this dress. I'm going to summon for Jean now. Nero gets her 50 billionth new outfit. So if you weren't going to summon for Nero for any of her other different outfits, now you can summon for her now. So I don't know. It just seems like, well, I'm fine with the glasses. I'm not trying to complain or rant about like them being like, oh, we're giving everybody glasses. I think those are fine. Right? I think it's like a neat little thing that they did to give like all these different servers just pairs of glasses. I'm just more upset that they're kind of squandering this opportunity, because you know, they bring back Arjuna Altar after almost 3 years. They bring back Merlin, and none of them are really getting these big sweeping buffs that would make them, it would just be so impactful, right? Because giving a servant a buff can almost be like re-releasing that servant at times. Like, there are some servants like Ozymandias who has gotten his buffs, and he's almost a completely different beast. Like, he was like this kind of like B tier, like just solid, just a good single target rider is kind of what he was. Like, he wasn't exceptional, but he wasn't like a bad servant by any stretch of the imagination. So it's just like, you can really give them a new lease on life if you give them buffs like this at times, which maybe it's just me being like really nostalgic or something. Maybe I'm like, oh, I would just like to see Merlin just kind of be back in the meta again, or Arjuna Altar I don't think is necessarily falling off. In fact, I think Arjuna Altar kind of got a semi-buff alongside of all of the other Buster Servants, with the Append skill being able to give him a 50% battery, basically, and then making him, like, really strong with Koya and Skya. But, I would just like to see Merlin be more competitive again. And again, like, I don't want to see comments of people being like, I can't believe he's saying Merlin's bad. It's like, no, I'm not saying Merlin's bad. Like, everything here is definitely strong. This is a strong charisma. This is one of the best just party-wide defense skills in the entire game, if not, like, the best skill in the entire game. It's so insanely strong. And then this remains like one of the biggest damage steroids in the game as well. Like, it's not like this is a bad skill anymore. It's just he's starting to show his age just a little bit, right? Still like an S tier servant, still very, very strong. Wouldn't consider him to be like bad or anything, but I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to see like buffs for some of these servants when they bring them around. I don't know. Like, you guys can let me know in the comments if you feel the same way, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. As I'm demonstrating today, I'm trying my best to get these daily videos out there. Even if, me and the boys, party a little too hard last night. I wake up, kind of get me some, what did I do this morning? Got some water, rehydrated myself, I guess. And then I was like, all right, video time, now that I'm feeling 100%. So, like and subscribe would greatly help out. I'm really trying to reach 100K. That's the whole goal right now. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen. Then I guess I just become a vlogging channel or something to reach 1 million or something like that. I don't know, become a lore channel or something like that. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, I'm sponsored by LD Emulator and Loot Cakes. Both are linked down in the description down below. I talk about them all the time, so you should know the vibes with that. And then finally, I'm going to be hosting a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament over on my Twitch, which is linked down in the description down below, on the 26th. I believe it should be a Saturday at 3 p.m. EST. The only restriction is that you basically have to build a pure archetype on Master Duel. So I'm really looking forward to see what decks people bring. If you're interested in joining, my Discord is linked down in the description down below. Just go ahead and join that. DM me like what you want to run, and you can try to like send me deck lists, and I'll kind of like tell you like, oh, like Solemn Judgment's technically a part of like the Dark Lord archetype, or like we split all of the pot cards into like the Goblin archetype, right? Like to kind of like diversify deck building a little bit. So really curious to see what you guys are going to come up with and how you guys are going to try to break the game. But with all that being said, I will catch you guys in the next one. See you guys in the next video.